everybody to Stay Tuned Sports. It is I, your boy King. Right over there is your good friend. No, right over there is your good friend Jimbo. I forgot which way I was pointing for a second. Oh man, this is all still score. Oh, that's right. We don't have the little score thing there. I was wondering why this is kind of funky looking. The cameras are a little funky because again we haven't used this one for a while since I redid everything. Shocker. I haven't been really a part of a lot of stuff. Whoops, sorry. But yeah, so let me go ahead and fix that now a little bit. But Jimbo, how we doing, brother?
Pretty good. I mean, in a way, I'm happy, but also sad. I'm happy because it's Super Bowl week, but also sad because it's Super Bowl week. It's the last game for the.
No, that's it. We're here. We're at the end. There's no more after this, ladies and gentlemen. And I know someone out there is going to say, "Hey, UFL baby, XFL's coming, baby. You got to have that XFL love." And I listen. I get it. But as much as we do love the XFL, or UFL or whatever, whichever FL. It's not the NFL, guys. And that's the thing is I love it. Go Battlehawks, Kaka, cause the law. I get it. I love it. But here, I'm trying to fix this. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit better. My head is so big on the fucking screen. It's like too much face. There's way too much face here to be like right there. It's fucking crazy. My God. Cool. You can't see me. The problem is everybody can see me. There's so much face in this camera. Holy shit! I'll try. Let me if I just lean back. Hello to everybody here in the chat. Hamster ELS, great to see you guys in there. ELS saying in 2026 the NFL officially coming to Melbourne, Australia. So we're gonna have a game at 2:00 in the morning, baby. Let's go, make it happen. Woo! So excited for that.
Hopefully they have like a Friday or Saturday night. That way I can stick because it's Philly and St. Louis. St. Louis, LA. That will be playing in that one.
I'll cover that one at fucking 2:00 in the morning, and that'll be fun. 1:30 a.m. kickoff time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll watch that. Hey, maybe you guys will join us for it. So that'll be fun. Hamster. In the chat, he wants to know, why do I have a Chiefs balloon behind me? Why the fuck do you think that why would I have a Chiefs balloon behind me, Hamster? Why? Let's go ahead and discuss that, huh? Let's figure it out. Jimbo, Super Bowl LIX, LIX, down there in, which if you're going to lick something, you might as well do it in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Coming up here on Sunday, just a couple of days away. We talked about it. Football season this close to being over again. It hurts. Again, it feels like we just got here. We had that long countdown. We had our whole thing here, and now it's here. It's over. It's done. But your team is still here. So you've got a little bit of a rooting advantage. Your team is still here, so I have a little bit of a rooting advantage as well because fuck them. Straight from an Eagles fan mouth, we'll talk to the fan first before we start trying to, be professionals here. How you feeling on Super Bowl Wednesday here?
Well, since you want me to speak as a fan, an Eagles fan.
Yes. So I want the fan perspective here from you before we go into anything else.
I do want to point out a little bit about the Kansas City balloon that you have behind you there. It looks like you're already foreshadowing some cheating because it looks like that football is a little deflated.
Here's the problem. I think that balloon is from like 4 or 5 years ago. The Chiefs have been in there so much, I haven't had a need to buy a new fucking balloon. You just keep on inflating the fucking one you got. Yeah. Between that one, the 49ers, and now the Eagles, I haven't had to spend a lot on the fucking Super Bowl decorations. I'll tell you that.
But I mean, as a fan, like right now, I think I'm, with it being Wednesday, I'm starting to get through the thinking process of like, this is what we got to do to win. This is how we got to stop Patrick Mahomes. This is, and I really haven't read or tweeted out or watched any type of players talking or coaches talking because I don't want to be part of any of the trash talk because that's what I did last time, and we got ripped off with that holding call.
No, you held. That's
Luckily,
what that was.
James Bradbury is still out for the season, so we don't have to worry about him no more. But it's starting to set in, and I am curious to see how I'm gonna feel come Sunday compared to how I was 2 years ago.
Well, again, I certainly hope that it's. I certainly hope it's a loss. But well, for you guys anyway, because I can't deal with another Eagles win. I will speak as a Giants fan on this. Can't happen. We can't have another Eagles win. All right, this is already their third Super Bowl in 8 years. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. And
4 years for the great almighty Nick Sirianni.
And again. And I've heard a couple people bring this up, McAfee and a couple other people as well. Man, the amount that you guys have shit on that man, and he's gotten you to 2 Super Bowls. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Were you looking at? What do you mean?
Not me.
Shall we go to the videotape?
Not me. I've been on the Sirianni bandwagon since he pooped flowers out.
You are one of the people that, to quote Ty Schmidt there, has been calling him a big dumb dipshit. You have been, we can go back to the live streams earlier this year, which, by the way, you can go ahead and access over on our channel, especially if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed to us and you're watching us, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you like what we watch, and hit that like button. Thank you so very much. If you do that, you can go back there and you can see Jimbo, especially during the New Orleans game. We did cover the New Orleans game, Eagles versus Saints. I believe that was week 3. Go listen to our good friend Jimbo talk about Nick Sirianni there. Talk about how he'd rather have Big Dom take the clipboard from him and start coaching instead of have Nick Sirianni coach. I just want to put that out there. I'm just saying.
Let's see how I react after our bye in week 5 and Sirianni went all shaved bald head, bald.
When he went Nazi. Yeah, no, he was to kind of match the eagle on the Eagles throwback jersey, he went a little Nazi. And maybe that's just the message they needed. The Eagles, big Nazi people, so big on the National Socialism. So they just needed to have somebody who looked like a skinhead, who was one of them, and they were like, yeah, all right. And you'd be thinking, King, what are you talking about? It's a very diverse locker room down there in Philadelphia. Why would you sit there and say that they're National Socialists or that they're something like that? Well, because they're evil. And evil knows no limits when it comes to diversity or race, creed, sex, gender, religion, any of that. So the entire city of Philadelphia and the Eagles, as far as I'm concerned, one giant pot of Nazis. And that's why we can't allow them to win. It can't happen. What do we have? We have an all-American couple in Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Got to go ahead and win 2 in a row for them. Maybe we get a proposal out of it this time. Certainly hope so. Get up there on stage, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen, Captain. Got to lock that down, Travis. You already got Josh Allen locking down Haley Steinfeld. Taylor's going to start everyone. And hey, listen, first of all, I don't know if anybody paid attention to the Grammys. Usually I don't, but I have a Swiftie wife, so gotta watch the Grammys, especially when Taylor Swift is there. Did you see that bitch's fucking legs? Holy shit!
Well, it just confirmed everything I've said over the years.
First of all, that's what the Era Tour did. She's been doing those shows for 3.5 hours a night for what, 2 years, over 2 years, and pumping this up, man. She got some legs on her. She might be able to. She can squat right along there with Saquon. I think she got Saquon thighs. She's got them big fucking quads on her now. Let's go. Imagine just Travis right there. You talk about. Listen, do you want to keep on getting hit in the head and have like CTE and concussions in football, or do you want to have your head crushed between those massive fucking muscular thighs every day? I'm sorry, if I'm Travis, if I win today, if I win the Super Bowl, guess what? Proposal. I'll propose with the Super Bowl ring. Here we go. Lock it down, buddy. Let's go, Travis. Come on. You got to do it. Hamster in the chat says the Eagles had the easiest damn schedule I've ever seen this year. That is very true. They did. We talked about that earlier on, and we talked about that in our preseason episodes when we were talking about the Giants had the Giants literally had the hardest schedule. The Eagles had the easiest, or one of the easiest, and that's just not fair because the Giants suck and the Eagles were pretty damn good. So it
You
does.
must be looking at fake news because it was the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys were all in the top 8 of hardest
No,
schedules.
not the Eagles were not. No, I remember I kept on bringing it up because the Eagles were one of the easiest schedules.
I kept bringing it up and showed you.
Yeah, no, we did show, dude. The Eagles were not. The Eagles were like 26th, I think. Maybe no, 26th easiest.
Yeah, no.
Or no, 26th hardest. You're right, which means that they were the
Giants were
8th
there, too.
easiest or something. It was Giants. I think were number 1 hardest. It might have been them or the Cardinals. I can't remember. It might have been them or the Cardinals. I don't remember who exactly was, but I know the Eagles were up there as far as easiest schedule.
Fake news.
Shut the fuck up with your fake news shit. So, okay, we've got our fan talk done. Like, we got all our shit out there. Fuck the Eagles. You're like, fuck you, go Eagles, fly, Eagles, flies, fuck out, whatever. EGLELES Eagles, just like your mayor, man.
Way to go, Mayor.
Yeah, you got your mayor and your citizens all doing that. You got people falling off. Like, I mean, again, you guys just you can't stop. Oh, I'm so happy the Eagles won. Bop, I'm dead. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I do just want to say something about that. Like, okay, it's terrible that he died or whatever, but
It's terrible he died. However,
young generation, take it from us older folks, us boomers, or whatever you want, whatever the word is nowadays. It's okay to celebrate without being a fucking moron. Like, don't get so wasted that you're not going to remember the celebration.
well, especially because you're dead.
Well, yeah.
You can't remember anything if you're dead, and if you've fallen 15 feet from the top of a fucking light post because you're like, woo, I'm a gymnast. I can do this. I've done this my whole life. Woo! And it's like, no. See what happens.
Think before you do something. Like, what are you accomplishing by, I'm going to climb a pole and stand up here and read a book, even though it was A.J. Brown's book, while us smarter people are on the ground looking up going, this dumbass is going to fall and break his freaking neck.
Here's the thing, though. Those people that were up there, had the book there or whatever, like, those were just regular people. Those were apparently non-gymnasts, from what I understand. Those were non-gymnasts. This guy that was up there that fell was a gymnast. So how is it that non-gymnasts, the non-athletic people, didn't fall off the pole, but the fucking gymnast, the guy who fucking spins around fucking poles and rings and pommel horses, was slipped and fucking fell? Like, what are we doing here?
He must have been related to the guy from Ohio State or Georgia that came out on the field and tackled the referee in the Notre Dame game.
Whatever. Is a strange reference. Why? I don't. What's the reference?
They're both stupid. Like, they're both stupid. Like, don't do it. Like, they're probably lower on the team's totem pole.
That had nothing to do with him being a gymnast, but I appreciate you trying. I don't know where the fuck we were going on that, Jimbo. We're just winding around. I don't know where we were going here.
I mean, he was kind of winding around as he hit the ground too. So
Hamster wants to. He brings this up. He says he went to the SEC championship game one year, and the dude behind him was so wasted that he passed out in the aisle and missed the entire game, and everyone just stepped over him and talk about a waste of money. I saw that, and I'll say this back in, I want to say it was 2005, 2006. I went to a NASCAR race. I was trying to get laid. Just shut up. So I went to a NASCAR race with this girl. And, you go to a NASCAR race, you drink, you have a good time. You're out there in the fucking baking in the fucking sun in the middle of Pocono. So you're having everything like that. And we get to the national anthem. And we look over literally about 3 or 4 seats over from us. Or spots, because they were benches still at the time. 4 or 5 spots over from us. And there's this girl, gone. Just absolutely gone. Obliterated. Can't get, head is hanging, hair's over face. Guys trying to help hold her up for the anthem, and she's just a sack of potatoes. She's just gone. And it's like, there's a lesson there. There's a lesson there with this stuff. There's a lesson there from what Hamster says, my story, anything else where you've been to maybe some of these events. There's a lot of amateurs out there when it comes to this stuff, and a lot of people who just don't know their limitations or don't want to know their limitations. They know their limitations, but they're like, I can power through. No, you can't.
No.
You have to understand. Like, yes, maybe some other people can go out there and they can fucking hammer booze like anybody else. Or they can go out there and they can smoke a bowl and they can drink in the parking lot for the fucking, tailgate, and they're fucking high and they're drunk, but they're still there with it and they're just like, well, yeah, all right, whatever. And you're like, hey, I can do that. And you decide to do that and you don't wake up for 3 fucking days. But then you're like, yeah, but that's what people are supposed to do. No. Listen. Drinking in a celebratory fashion and celebrating in any way with substances, whatever they may be. It's a lot like medicine. It's a lot like anything or everything in life. It's not a uniform way to do things. Yes. Like there's not my team won, so I have to drink a case of Natty Light. No, you don't have to. You can have just a couple beers. Drink to where you think you feel good and happy and can just go. Don't be like, well, I have to keep up with it. No, you don't. You don't. A lot of people want to say, well, there's peer pressure. Fuck that. Be yourself. So here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. You have to know your limitations. This kid wanted to climb a pole in Philadelphia because he was like, I'm going to Temple. I'm excited for this. And climbing poles in Philadelphia is what you do. And now you're dead. So... don't climb a pole. Unless you've climbed poles before and are very, used to, especially greased poles, stay off the pole. Leave the poles for your mom. Don't climb up poles. Don't get blackout drunk before games start because you're like, woo, I'm going to have a great time. Woo, because you're not going to have a great time. You're not going to remember the time. You're going to puke all over yourself. You're going to puke in your hair. You're going to be gross and disgusting, and everybody's going to laugh at you, and then you're going to be the joke of the party or the joke of the event. Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants to see you be that. So just, again, use common sense. Know your limitations. And listen, not everybody can fucking hang like me and Jimbo. And there's people that I can't hang with. And I'm a big, fat, dumb dipshit. You think I should be able to go ahead and drink myself silly? No, especially not anymore. I've laid off the booze for a while, so all that tolerance is gone. But yeah, like there's times like, no, can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know your limitations. So like to the people in Philadelphia, win or lose.
Not even just Philadelphia, but Kansas City too.
We saw what happened last year with people fucking shooting up the parade. Because now they're not even going to have the rally. They're just going to have the parade, and then they're going to have an exclusive get together with other people. Because again, stupid people, you can't have nice things. That's why we can't have nice things, because you decided to go ahead and shoot up fucking people. So, ELS says, a tip for people, use your brain, don't be stupid. Yeah, that's basically what we're saying here. And again, I'm with Jimbo. I'm going to say this specifically for Philadelphia fans because we've already had a death. But he's right in saying it for all fan bases. Know your limitations. Know what you can and can't do, and don't push past it. Don't push past it because, well, other people are pushing past it or other people are doing more. If they can, let them. If they can't, then you'll be one of the people going back there and be like, oh, look at that fucking asshole. Don't you be the person that gets fucking made fun of and laughed at and, possibly deadified because you didn't know where. Because I just wanted to party like everybody else. Yeah, well, that's how you fall 15 feet to your death. So how about we don't do that this time? Okay? That'd be great. Okay, so now that we've gotten all that out of the way, I know we were supposed to do about, 15 minutes ago. Now let's do the analytical part, the actual, we're professional journalists here, Jimbo. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if anybody else out there knows that. The guys in the chat, hi, it's good to see you there. ELS Hamster guys joining us here. Chat's open, by the way. If you want to come in, say hi, say hello, say how you doing. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. That helps us out tremendously. Gets us on the road to hopefully being monetized here. So that would be very great. And also, you can come into the chat and let us know if you have a topic you want us to talk about. Let us know, and we'll see if we can help you. But yes. As we are professional journalists here, as professional sports journalists, I want you to look at this from both sides. What do the Eagles have to do to win? What do the Chiefs have to do to win? I'll chime in, of course, with how I think and what I think needs to happen for either of these teams. And then we'll go ahead and we'll make our picks. And then we'll dabble in some of the other sports topics of the day. There's a lot to talk about, But obviously the Super Bowl is the biggest thing right now here on Super Bowl Wednesday for Jimbo. Yeah, so that would be my question. Looking at it now from clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. What do the Eagles have to do offensively, defensively, however you look at it there, to win this game? And then, adversely, what would the Chiefs have to do to go ahead and pull this win off against the Eagles down there at the Superdome?
I mean, offensively, me and you have agreed on this for weeks, months now. If Philly's offensive line could just lock up Kansas City's defensive line and let Barkley get to the linebackers and the corners, he's going to get his 30-yard average touchdown, whatever that was, this game. Don't let Jalen Hurts pass 40, 50 times. We don't need that. Defensively, I'm actually a little worried about Xavier Worthy. I think as far as the Eagles' defense, we could contain. I don't want to say contain, because contain to me means like no catch, no receiving yards. I think we could slow Kelsey down enough to like a bend, don't break type defense. But if we let Worthy just run downfield, it could be a long day for us. He's small. Yes, he's quick. He's small. I would like to see Quinyon Mitchell covering him. I think that would be the best bet, and just jam the motherfucker at the line. Throw him off his routes, and give that like extra second, maybe 2 seconds for the defensive line. Jalen Carter.
You have that 1 yard cushion, man. Use it as soon as as soon as that ball is snapped. Jam him up. Yeah, that is not a bad way to think about it.
And there's I know the Super Bowl MVP always goes to like pretty much the quarterback. I would not be surprised to see Jalen Carter have like a MVP type game, just because of how he's been playing so well lately.
When was the last defensive MVP? I'm trying to remember. Was it Derek Brooks with the Buccaneers? 38.
Aaron Donald with the Rams, or was it?
Did Aaron Donald get MVP that year?
He was in the talk because of that last play that basically.
I remember. I know that. Yeah, the last play against Burrow where he got basically the sack on him. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember who that was. It might have been. So I mean, it's been more recent. Yeah. But I mean, that could be. Here's the thing. I feel this. I feel like if the Eagles do win, the MVP is probably going to be Saquon. Because as we talked about, I think the formula for the Eagles is simple. You have what could be right now the best offensive line in the NFL. I mean, you could talk about other teams. Kansas City is good for having to deal what they've had to deal with injuries and other people moved around and things like that. Buffalo's has been good. Baltimore's has been okay. Like there's other ones but I truly do think that the Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL. So if you're able to control the line of scrimmage and get Saquon the space he needs, I think it's going to be hard to stop the Eagles. I think that, number one. So the key, I think, if you're looking at it from the Chiefs' defensive standpoint, is stop Saquon or limit it. I don't know if you're going to be able to stop him, but limit him. If you can keep him under $150, you have a chance, I think. Yeah. And then you have to pressure Jalen. He makes mistakes. He's goofy with the fucking ball. I mean, you can rattle him rather easily. And I know people are going to sit there saying, but like, especially the Philadelphia fans, they're always like, oh, everybody talks shit on Jalen Hurts. Yes, because he's a bad quarterback. I'm sorry. He is. As somebody who's watched the Giants for the last 13 years, I know what bad quarterback play looks like. All right. And Jalen Hurts ain't great. I'm sorry. He's not. And the Eagles are where they are because of Saquon Barkley. So if you put the game in Jalen's hands, I think you have a shot. Now, when it comes to the Chiefs, you have to use your speed. You have to find where Xavier Worthy can go ahead and make his mark. If that's running out of the backfield, doing reverses, whatever the case is, You have to try to get Pacheco some yardage, but again, that Eagles line, especially with Jalen Carter, who missed media availability in practice today with an illness, so that's something to keep an eye out on. Is he going to be healthy for the Super Bowl? Now it's 4 days away still, so he's got time to recover. They're going to pump his ass full of IV fluids and all that kind of shit, So I have a feeling he should be okay, but. I think you have to get the running game going. I don't know if you rely on Kelsey too much, simply because again he hasn't done a ton this year, and I think the Eagles are defensively built to kind of stop him. They can stop him. I don't think he's going to get too much going there. Here's the thing: if he does, then the Eagles are in trouble. Because if you get him, if you can get Kelsey going, that's a Mahomes safety valve right there. So then that's going to be able to open up so much more for the Chiefs to do, whether it's trick plays or just regular end arounds or just maybe opening up D-Hop down. I mean, this is the thing you forget, that DeAndre Hopkins is on this fucking team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not that the Chiefs don't have offensive weapons, and it's not that they can't score. I think a lot of people are still very much like, well, the Chiefs offensively, their numbers aren't big this year. Their numbers don't look that great. They've had a lot of only one possession wins, and they're all this other stuff. And it's like, yes, but they've won. And I think that's the thing that we have to look about that too. Is like, yeah, they been as prolific as they were, 4 years ago when they were putting up like fucking 48, 52 points a game. Remember that big game they had with the Rams, was it 52-48 down in Mexico City or whatever it was? And everybody was like, that's the greatest game I've ever seen. And that was so great. Like they were just pew, 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 firing it down. You had Tyreek Hill, Mahomes old say, fuck it, Tyreek's down there somewhere and just chuck it up. That's not what this team is. But that's almost feels scarier in that sense, because this team has shown that they can win while being an offensive juggernaut, and now they've shown that they can win one-possession games like nobody else. Again, they were 15-1 this year. 15-2 if you count the game they just gave up with the Broncos in the last game of the year. But like, this team is 15-1, and people are like, "Well, they're not that good this year." They're 15-1. Even if the referees were helping them. They're 15-1. Suck my dick.
It could be 15-1 when the refs help you.
That's so it's ridiculous to think about that, and that's the point. And the point I brought up, and I brought this up with my old man, who you guys heard him a couple times on the live stream on the phone, and I have him on here. I love the old man. He brought up a point, and me and him have discussed this, and this is something we both agree on. What's going to make the difference is, in my opinion, this is what's going to make the difference, is who's going to be prepared more. Who's prepared? And if we look at the history of the Kansas City Chiefs here, they're always prepared. It seems like they're always prepared for every eventuality. They plan, they practice plays that they never use for 3, 4, 5 years. They just, and then they'll 100% use it. And they start doing fucking, I go back to the first game against the Broncos where they blocked the last second field goal. And it's like, that's because they watched the film. They knew that guy on the left side of the line always lined up on his heels. And if you fucking just pushed on him, he fucking fell over. So they overloaded that side, put like 6 guys over him, and then on that last play, just fucking bum rushed him, and were able to get in the back from him and do it. Why? Because they looked at film. Who watches that much fucking special teams film? Who prepares for that much on a special teams play? The fucking Chiefs do. And they do that for everything. Offense, defense, special teams. So I think if the Chiefs win, it's simply because they are more prepared. And everybody likes to say that they get lucky, and they get lucky with this, and they get lucky with that. Oh, they were lucky they blocked the field goal. Oh, they were lucky with this play or that play. And what's the old saying? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And there is no team that is more prepared top to bottom, and that's Andy Reid. I mean, that's Andy Reid to a T. We knew that in Philadelphia. That's why he had so much success in Philadelphia, even though it was hard for them to get over the hump into the Super Bowl. But still, you guys went to 5 NFC Championship games, 1 Super Bowl overall, with teams that you look back on it, it's like me,
Sure.
like outside of the TO one, which again, you guys, that was a back and forth with peak Patriots dynasty.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason you really lost that one. But outside of like having TO, like the Eagles were never a team that you were like that unstoppable team. But he always had them there. Why? Because the Eagles were always prepared. That team was always prepared for every eventuality, and that's why they were always able to get down to the NFC Championship game and then eventually to the Super Bowl. And I think when you look at this Chiefs team again, now you give Andy Reid a generational talent like Patrick Mahomes, maybe the best tight end in NFL history, and Travis Kelce. He had Tyreek Hill for however many years. And again, he's able to take these pieces and these talented pieces and use them. And then you have Spagnuolo, maybe one of the best defensive coordinators currently in the NFL, who's been running this defense like a fucking well-oiled machine. And you got Jones there on it. Like, again, and I'm going to be interested to see how McDuffie, I wonder who they're going to put McDuffie on. And if he's able to shut down, because if he's able to shut down, no matter who he's on, whether that's going to be AJ or Devontae, I'd imagine it'd probably be AJ. But if he's able to shut him down, or if he's able to get a pick or two against Jalen Hurts, I mean, that's the thing you have to look at too. Turnover battle. Who's going to win the turnover battle? If the Chiefs can get turnovers, if they can get a couple picks from Hurts, if they can get a fumble from him, pressuring him in the backfield. If you're able to do that, that's going to massively help you. No matter how much they have Saquon Barkley, no matter how much they run him, if you're able to get turnovers and win a turnover battle, you can win. So, and again, I think the Chiefs are one of those teams that are prepared for every eventuality. They are. And that's why they're here again for the third straight year. For what, this is their fifth time in the last 7 years they've been here. Like, it's fucking insane when you think about, like, we said, man, we're never going to see something like the Patriots again. We're never going to see anything like that. And now not only are we seeing it again, we're seeing something that is equal to, if not almost better. If the Chiefs win this game, you have to start having the argument of maybe they're better than the Patriots were. That's fucking insane.
I mean, because think about it, like you said, this is the fifth time in 7 years. Brady and the Patriots did it for 15-ish.
Well, they went to 3 and 5.
Okay.
When they did 36, 38 and 39. Then they lost 42 to the Giants, lost 46 to the Giants. 149, 151, lost 52, 153. So the Patriots have gone to 3 straight Super Bowls, but they lost the middle one to you guys.
But my point is, it feels like the Chiefs are doing it in a shorter span compared to the Patriots.
Right. That's I 100% agree with that. And that's it. The Patriots went to, I think, 9 Super Bowls in Brady's time there. Yeah. Winning the 6, and they lost the 3 to the Giants, 1 to the Eagles, and that's it. The Chiefs are already at 5.
Yeah,
and they have a chance to be the first team to ever win 3. And that's what I mean. I don't think it's something that you can cement. But if they win 3 in a row, like if they win this game, that's 3 in a row. That's 4. For Kelce, Mahomes, Reed, and for the core that's there, Jones, and 4 and 6, like the conversation has to start being had, if that happens. So, I mean, that's where we go with it. But okay, so now we've discussed how we think each team has to perform, what they're going to need to do to win, everything like that. Jimbo. Now it's time. Yeah, we're still professional journalists here, okay? We're still professional journalists. Remember that. So, what I need from you, with your professional journalism hat on, is who? Okay, and I'll say this. I'll allow you 2 predictions as a professional journalist and as an Eagles fan.
Okay.
Who wins this game? Who wins Super Bowl LIX?
As an Eagles fan, I think the Chiefs win 70-3. As a professional journalist here. I think Philly could pull it out, and it's just because of Barkley, and I think that defensive line of Philly is going to have a better game than Kansas City's offensive line, and I think it's going to make a difference. I think Philly needs to be up by at least 10 points to feel safe to win the game because
Well, I mean, if you look at the last two Super Bowls that the Chiefs had with the 49ers, where the Niners thought they were good, they were in a good spot. Fourth quarter, 10-plus point lead in both those games, and ended up losing both of them. So I think in that aspect, you're actually right. That if you're the Eagles, you're not going to feel comfortable unless you have not only at least a 10-point, but you need a double-digit. Like you need like 14, 17, something like that I think maybe feel comfortable.
Just because of, and I'm not saying this because of the Chiefs, but because of how the refs overall, not just the Chiefs games.
I'll agree that you don't want to leave it in the refs' hands for them to make a bad call and leave it to that. I 100% I agree with that.
And putting my Eagles fan hat back on, I did say to one of my buddies at work today, like, obviously I want Philly to win. That's obvious.
Yes.
I just don't want the outcome. I don't want the Chiefs to win because of the refs. Because of a bad pass,
right? A holding call or a pass interference call or a personal foul call that is like, right? I get you. I don't think anybody wants that.
If the Chiefs win outright, yes, I'll be upset. I'll be pissed off, but I could accept it. I could accept that at least. Like let the two best teams in the NFL fight this out and figure out who is the best team this year.
I agree with that. I'll agree with that. So that is how you see it. You think that, and I agree. Nobody wants to see the referees get involved at the end. We want to see a good finish. That's what I mean. Even when we go back to that one with the holding call, and everybody was like, "Oh, that wasn't really holding," or anything like that. I give you shit for that, but at the end of the day, like it sucks that it happened, whether or not it was a good call or not. Even if I do think it was a good call, you hate to see it end that way because it's like the game ended on a flag basically, and it's like I'd rather see it end with the players. So like you'd rather see that happen that way unless it was egregious, and it was. So I mean that's what I mean. Part of you is like, God, it sucks that it ended that way. But you're like, you get it, you understand why, because here's the thing: if that official doesn't throw the flag, then it's like, oh my God, this is a tainted victory for the Eagles. They should have. What a clear holding call! He's pulling his jersey, like what, it's going to go either way on that particular call. Again, taking your fan hat off. But I'm sure as a fan, you're like, fuck no, that was bullshit. Like I get it. We've had this conversation so many times.
Yeah. That's why I'm not going to bring it back up.
Me, with the fan hat on, Chiefs win 42-10. I think, Saquon probably gets injured early on, as his he's gonna channel his inner New York Giant, and they're playing on turf, so he's gonna be, he's gonna go making cut and get hurt, and he's gonna be like, oh my God, it's like MetLife all over again. It's gonna be a fucking disaster. I don't know how it's going to happen. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping by halftime I can just relax. I can smoke up right here on the fucking thing. I'm going to be smoking weed right here. I'm going to be Lance. I'm going to be like, yo, Taylor's joining Kendrick at halftime. What's up, Taylor? Yeah, bad blood, bitch. Let's go. Like, I'm going to be fucking, let's go, baby. I'm going to be rooting for a fucking marriage proposal. I want that whole thing. Okay. Journalist hat on. I'm fucking terrified that the Eagles are going to win this game, because I got to tell you what, you hand that ball to Saquon, he is the cheat code. You give Saquon the ball, it's going to be hard for them to stop. I honestly think, and this is my professional opinion, my journalistic opinion, if Sirianni, the only way I think, I feel the only way the Eagles lose this game is if Sirianni has a relapse and tries to Sirianni some shit. Yeah. Like, part of me feels like all you have to do is hand the ball. A.J. Brown might bitch and moan. Devontae Smith might bitch and moan. Oh, this is my Super Bowl and I didn't get a pass. I didn't get a touchdown. I wanted the Super Bowl touchdown, or go on the sideline and read his fucking book or do whatever he's going to do. Like, let them bitch. You have the cheat code. You have the guy right there. Feed him. Remember Ryback back in WWE? Feed me more. That's all you got to do with Saquon. Hand him the ball. Now, is that to say that the Chiefs can't win? Even with that, not at all. The Chiefs are, like I said, I think they're better prepared. I think they're always going to be ready for every eventuality. You gave Steve Spagnuolo 2 weeks to work on this Eagles offense. I don't think it's going to be as easy as I'm trying to make it out, like saying, oh, we'll take on the Chico, just hand it to him and he'll win. I don't think it'll be that easy, but it feels like everything here is going the Eagles' way as far as, talent, player-wise. It just a lot. It feels Eagles. That being said, again, I'm gonna have to go back to what I talked to my father about and what I've talked to other people with, and from an objective point of view. Again, this is journalist hat, not fan hat, despite what the hat says. There's never been a team that prepares the way that Kansas City does, and that Andy Reid does, and that his coaching staff does. Because of that, I think we have a game here. Will it go into overtime like last year? Here's a chance. I think there is. I think this game can be that close. I certainly think it's going to be a one-possession game. Whether you think that's 7, 6, 3 points, 4 points, whatever. I think we're going to have that kind of game, and in those kind of games, you can't go against the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't think you can. They will always find a way, whether people think it's by the officials or whether it's just their own preparedness. The Chiefs, I think, will find a way. So as we see in here, ELS has gave us his prediction. He thinks that the Eagles will win 38-35. He's thinking along the same lines that I am. This is going to be a one-possession game, no matter who wins, I believe. I think your 10-point, 17-point hopeful thing is, I don't know about that. I think this is going to be a close game. But I think it's definitely along those lines there were ELS. I don't know if I'm going to go with a score. If I had to, I would say something along like 33, 31, 35, 30, something like that. I really do think it's going to like 28, 30, 28, 31. It's going to be that kind of game, I think, where it's just going to be that one possession game, either a last-second field goal, a field goal make, a field goal miss, one side or the other, whatever it is. But I certainly think that, again, in those type of games, I just can't go against the Chiefs based on history. This isn't even a case of like, well, fuck the Eagles. No, like it's just based on history. The Chiefs in these kind of games always, to some people's massive frustration, they always find a way to win these games. And this feels like that kind of game to me. So there you go. You got Jimbo's pick there. He is going Eagles with his professional hat. And I am barely going Chiefs. Again, I think we could have a classic. Kind of like last year. Live. We could have a classic like we had last year with the overtime game that came to the end of the first overtime. Man, just think about it. If the Chiefs missed that, we go to 2 overtimes. That's pretty crazy. Also, I think both teams understand what the overtime rules are, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that either. But could we have with an overtime game? Maybe. But again, I think it's going to be real. I think it's going to be classic. I think it's going to be a real close one. And we'll see. And I will be here to broadcast that with you. I'm missing my family Super Bowl party to be here to broadcast for you guys. I hope you understand the sacrifices that I'm making here for you guys. I could be getting drunk, eating snacks out my ass, I don't know if I'd actually want to do that, but
I don't think you're that like.
yeah, no, that's not. On second thought, let's rewind that. But still, I could be doing all that, having fun, doing all that, but no, I got to be here broadcasting with you. But you know what? I love coming here and broadcasting with you guys. It's going to be fun hearing you with Hamster, ELS, everybody else. Maybe Pecan will join us here. Who knows? And maybe, if you're watching, you will too. Again, the chat's open right now. If you want to come in and say hi, say hello, say how you doing. Real quickly, I want to go to a quick question here from the chat. This is from ELS, by the way, and this was good before we move on to some of the other stuff here, because there is other things happening in the sports world we do want to touch on here. But ELS wants to know, with Myles Garrett and Cooper Kupp both being on the trade market, Myles requesting the trade and Cooper being thrust upon it by the Rams, as they just kind of saying, bye, Cooper. We don't want you here anymore. So we have two of those guys, Myles Garrett and Cooper Kupp, on the trade block. He wants to know who you think the Packers would go for out of those two. And I think I'll broaden that question up too. It's not just the Packers, but where do you think both of those guys will end up, and with who, and how will we get there? I will say this: despite everything, and again, Green Bay has a tendency to always go in weird directions. If I'm Green Bay, man, you have a chance to get maybe your best defensive player since Reggie White. Get Myles Garrett if you can.
Yeah.
And I think you're, first of all, I think you're in the NFC, which is a bonus. And you are a contending team. You're a team that is good, is in the playoffs. You won 13 games this year, 14. You won a lot of fucking games this year, 12, 13 games, whatever it was. Like, you're there, you're on that cusp. So I think that would definitely be a place that Myles would be like, yeah, sure, I'll go there. So if I was the Packers, that's where I would go after Myles Garrett more so than Cooper Kupp. But Jimbo, again, really not a shock. Some people wanted to act like it was shocking. It wasn't a shock that Myles had. The writing was on the wall that he was going to leave. So the question, Jen, just is, where do you think he ends up? And also, are the Browns going to dig their heels in? Are the Browns going to say, no, fuck this. You're under contract. You're going to play with us, or you can sit and not play. We don't give a shit. We'll just fine you to death. But
yeah, I'm going to do a Jimbo take here. I don't think Myles Garrett gets traded.
Could be. I think that's a possibility.
I think he actually still has 2 years on his contract. The money is not guaranteed, I believe. And this could possibly just be like a contract negotiation stunt, because, obviously the Browns came out and said, no, we're not going to trade him. So they're going to already set up, like, well, we're going to want 4 first rounders and a player.
Well, they already said that, because I think a reporter asked their general manager, like, if somebody offers you 2 ones, you're telling me that you're going to sit there and say no? He's like, that's exactly what I'm telling you. I was like, he is not on the trade block. He is not on the market. We are not trading him. You can offer us 3 ones. We are not trading him. So I think that.
If I had to pick a team, like, say he changes his mind and he's gonna, they're gonna trade him. I mean, the opening bets were Buffalo and Philly were the top 2 guys.
He will not get if he's going to get traded, it'll be to the NFC. He is not getting traded to AFC. I guarantee you that.
I don't think Philly will pull it.
Oh, no. He's not.
The one proposal, fantasy proposal, whatever, was Bryce Huff, who was our big free agent signing, who hasn't played all season. This year's first, next year's first, and a second round. Like, that's not even going to be close to enough.
No. He's not. You're not. They're going to be like, trade a Saquon.
Yeah. And as far as the Packers, I would not trade for him, because, I'm sorry, Jordan Love, there's still question marks with him. So why would you trade your future? I know you don't like draft picks, whatever, but why would you trade all the draft picks to bring him in when you don't even have a quarterback that might be?
You just signed Jordan Love to one of the biggest quarterback contracts in the league. He's there for a while. You have him there. That's the bottom line. He's not going anywhere. Jordan Love's not going anywhere.
No, I'm not saying that they're going to cut him, but I mean, look at Danny Dimes. I mean, he had a good year. They signed him, and then it all went to shit. Jordan Love had a good year, signed him, and average.
Well, I mean, injury filled, and I will say this: he had moments this year that were Will Levisian to say. Very Levisian moments with some of his passes this year, and ELS can agree with us on that. We've talked about it. He had some of those passes under pressure out of the backfield that were a little questionable. But I'll say this: I honestly think I don't disagree so much with your thought process on that. Like that the Browns would just say he can request a trade. We don't have to trade him. And they've already come out and said, listen, you can knock our socks off with any offer you want to give us. We're not giving him up. So it'll take somebody basically pulling off like a Herschel Walker kind of trade, where it's like, we're going to give you a bunch of fucking thing. And maybe, if I'm Cleveland, I'm like, also, why don't you trade me a quarterback? Why not that? Maybe we'll look at that and see if they'll do that. Maybe Minnesota. We'll give you Darnold and a bunch of ones and maybe a couple other picks or whatever, and we'll send you that. And they'll get Miles, and then you can put JJ in or put fucking Danny Dimes in or whoever. Then just like, because Minnesota's defense was good this year.
Yeah.
You had Flores up there. He was doing well with it. It seems like he's staying up there as well. So you got Flores still up there. You have a good defense. You put Myles Garrett on that defense. That Minnesota defense becomes a real fucking problem. Becomes a real problem. No matter who's on the offensive side of the ball. That defense becomes a problem. So, I think that's it. Cooper Kupp, I think he can end up almost anywhere.
I don't think he gets traded either.
Well, the Rams put him on the block, so
don't mean that a team is going to trade for him.
Somebody will trade for Cooper Kupp. Somebody 1,000% will. Why wouldn't you?
When someone offers the Rams a 7th round draft pick for him because he's always injured, they're going to be like,
no. I mean, they're going to work on it. I mean, Jesus Christ, Jimbo, come on. They're going to work on a deal. Like, you just think like, that being an NFL GM is not like being a GM in Madden. You don't sit there and say, well, I'm going to give you a 7th pick and the computer comes back. That's not enough. Like, that's not what I mean, they will find a deal. Somebody will work out a deal, especially if it's a team that is kind of like me, that is not huge on draft capital. So you can give up, we'll give you a 4th, a 5th, and, this second string player or, a wide receiver 3 or something else like that. Or just, what are you looking for? I mean, that's the other thing too. You call up the Rams and be like, what are you looking for? Like, what is your, what are your needs? What are you looking for? What do you want to get from? And they'll tell you what they're looking for, and you go, that's bullshit, but give me a second, let me work on a counter offer. And you work on it that way. You do a little negotiating and see if you can get that. I don't know if that happens. I think he ends up with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a good spot for him.
I wouldn't do that.
He can end up with the Raiders. He can end up with a couple teams. Nobody's going to end up with the Giants. Nobody wants to go to the Giants. And I get that. Whether free agency or trade, nobody's come to the Giants.
The Bears.
What's that?
Have them get traded to the Bears.
Who, Coop?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp, and then have the Ben Johnson versus LaFleur rivalry get a little bit better there.
Well, what's wrong? But it's. I don't understand the Cooper Kupp going. Why is that a thing? Why is that like a
offense? I think the Bears' offense would be a little bit better with Cooper.
They might be. They might again. I think because you're going to have Coop there. Then you have Moore. I think Moore. They still have Moore there, so he's still there. You could help on. Ben Johnson will hopefully be able to work and develop Caleb a little bit. It could be something. And then so I'll give that. I just didn't know if there was a specific reason. Like, there's a history between Cooper Kupp and the Bears. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
ELS is requesting Jimbo. Are you trying to kill me?
ELS again. Don't worry, because he's only going to play 3 games a season for the rest of his career.
Well, we'll see. Listen. We said this. I said the same thing about Saquon Barkley, and motherfucker stayed healthy all year. So,
and you know what's funny too? I just thought about that when you said it. I said I'm going to laugh at you when he lasts a full year and he gets 1,200 yards rushing.
Got a little bit more than 12. Got a little bit more than 12. Did a little bit better than that. It's like, okay. That's fucking great. So, yeah, that's a great question, ELS. Thank you so much for giving us that there in the chat. And, again, if you're watching and have a question, and want us to talk about it, come into the chat. It's open. Tell us what your question is, what you think it is, and we'll discuss it here with you. This is, again, Stay Tuned Sports. My name is King. That is your good friend Jimbo right over there. If you like what you're watching, hit that like button. Again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. The chat is open. Come and say hi. In the top of the chat, we have our donation station if you want to help us out in a more financial manner, since we don't have super chats or anything yet because we're not monetized yet. But if you do want to help us out, we have that link there in the top of the chat. It's also in the description below this video. Thank you so much for watching here. Some other things we wanted to touch on real quick. Again, we're not a huge basketball show. We're not a big NBA show, especially this. I mean, the NBA has been, even by people who watch the NBA has been fucking terrible this year. So there's that. But all that being said, Jimbo, there was a trade apparently that was fucking insane. And it has driven the sports world absolutely bonkers, and people still cannot wrap their head around it. The Dallas Mavericks trading their keystone piece, the Mr. Dallas Maverick and Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for AD, Anthony Davis. I know there were other pieces. I think there was a third team in there as well, but those are the two. Those are the two big pieces, AD and Luka. And all you needed to know about this particular trade is, if you were watching NBA games or if you were just on Twitter scrolling through and people were sending in cell phone footage of NBA benches reacting to finding out about the trade, and you just saw everybody on those benches going like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of, like, there a lot of the players have come out, a lot of people came and said they didn't believe it. Shams Charania, the guy who broke the news, an NBA insider there with ESPN, he said he had to double check because he thought he might have been getting fucking punked, and he thought it might have been like a Barry McCockiner kind of story where he was getting punked, because you look at it, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you trade away you traded away your franchise?
Yeah,
Luka Doncic is your franchise, and now you've just traded him away. Like,
just show you, like, how big he is to, or was to that team. Dirk Nowitzki basically passed the torch on to him to carry on the Dallas Mavericks, and you just said, "Fuck you, you're gone."
Well, we think he's fat. They tried to say he was 270 or something, and trying to say he was fat or out of shape or something. And like, you saw him get off the plane down in LA. It's like, that motherfucker ain't 270. I've seen 270. I mean, I'm 300 pounds, and I look 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that Luka Doncic is only, 30 pounds lighter than me? No, the fuck he's not. He's a little bit lighter than that.
Probably about the same height as you, too. He's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
Like, and yeah, I said I'm 6'8", so, I'm tall and fat, but I still look fatter than fucking Luka Doncic. So I just don't understand that. Hey, Crafty Southpaw in the chat, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Hamster says they gave Mavs season ticket holders refunds. Did they really, or are you just saying that? Because they probably should. I was going to say that, whether or not they did, maybe they should. I don't know. Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, again, not huge in the NBA, not a big basketball guy. But even I know Luka Doncic. Even I know that he is the Mavs. The reason the Mavs are any good or in these games, and they go back, I know they've had a bit of a thing here with the Nuggets, and, especially in the playoffs the last couple of years, like he's that guy, but he's the guy that carries that team, that franchise.
I mean, they were just in the finals last year.
Were they?
Yeah.
Was that lit?
It was like game 5, game 6, I think, is when it ended. So I mean, it's not like that they got blown out and lost, 4-0.
Is that who the Celtics played? They played was it the Mavs last year? I don't know. That shows you how much I pay attention to the NBA.
That's why this is so weird, because they were just in the finals a year ago.
And they've been. I know that they've been far in the playoffs for the last couple of years. Like I said, I know they've gone up a couple times against the Nuggets there, and again, that's the thing. This is like the Nuggets trading Jokic.
Yeah,
this is like this is something along those lines. Like, why would you do that? Like, that doesn't That doesn't make sense. And ELS is letting us know here that what Hamster said is 100% true. The Dallas Mavericks are giving refunds to season ticket holders, around $2,000 each to fans who canceled their season tickets. This covers any remaining home games for the rest of the season. Holy fucking shit.
If this doesn't,
Right there, that tells you maybe why would
this screams we're tanking.
why? But why? It's not like you're bad. Like, what are we? This is gonna be some like this might go down as like everybody points to the Herschel Walker Cowboys and Vikings trade as maybe one of the worst trades. But again, at the time, you don't know that. You give a bunch of picks, you get, a perennial Pro Bowler. Again, you're not working with the draft capital, but the Cowboys, they turned that into their 90s dynasty. So you look back on it, and it's like, wow, what a bad trade. But at the time, it's a bad trade in hindsight.
Yeah.
You look at the Russell Wilson trade between the Broncos and Seattle. At the time when they did it, it was like, oh, the Broncos, they finally got a quarterback. That's all they've been missing. Maybe this is what's going to happen. And then in hindsight, you're like, fuck, they got screwed. And the Seahawks just fleeced them. And then, Russell Wilson's gone. They're covering his contract. They're $43 million cap hit for 2 years and blah, 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 whatever. So, but again, bad trade. But at the time, seemed like a good deal.
Yeah.
This trade makes no fucking sense from the jump. Like, people, like, this is not something that's going to look bad in hindsight. It looks bad now. Like,
here's something else, too. I'm just thinking, too, is like the NBA, Adam Silver has to sign off on this. Sign off on a trade. 10 years ago or so, the commissioner before Adam Silver denied a Chris Paul trade, which was a lot better setup than what this was. I want to know why.
I saying like unfair advantage. Yeah, like what do you do? Like again, and I get Anthony Davis is a top player. He's a superstar, or whatever. But he's not a franchise. You know what I mean? Like you just traded away your franchise.
Yeah.
And this was the thing. Like just last year, was it? I think it was last year when they picked up Durant from Kyrie. Brooklyn, or was Irving? That was it. It was Kyrie Irving from Brooklyn. And and they were trying to see like, oh, well, how is Irving and Luka gonna work out, and how are they doing, and will the dynamic work? Because we don't want to upset the Luka thing, and how are things? Is he gonna be okay? Because that Kyrie Irving is can be weird in a locker room, and I think he had just gone over his whole Holocaust thing, which was whatever, so. I'm just reading the chat. It's just funny. Yeah. Hamster's just like, I love how King just assumes I'm making shit up. Well, yes, Hamster. Considering your track record, I kind of think a lot of the shit you say is made up. But it just so it's weird that you go ahead and you make that trade to try to give Luka Doncic a piece there in Dallas to go ahead and be good and make it further in the playoffs. And like you said, apparently they made it to the finals last year with that lineup. And then you trade away the guy that you wanted to trade for the guy to complement the guy that you just traded away.
Yeah.
What? Like it's just like I said, you don't have to know the NBA to know that this is a fucking weird, just nonsensical kind of fucking trade. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't understand it. Jimbo, make it make sense to me.
The only explanation I could think of is Jerry Jones snuck into the GM's office overnight and made the trade himself to get some of the heat off of him. But other than that, I do, like I said, when it went down, I haven't watched an NBA game in years. I've watched clips. Last year I watched a little bit of finals. That's why.
Right. Yeah. With the finals, I'll if the Knicks are in it, I'll watch a little bit of the Knicks in the playoffs or something like that. But yeah.
But when you like Kevin Durant, how he found out was a kid behind him in the seats.
I saw that clip. Yeah.
Called him, and Durant's like, What?
What? No.
And then he told one of his players that was a
Right.
healthy scratch or whatever to look it up, and you saw him pull up the phone and show it.
That's what I mean. Looking at not just that was one of the ones I saw, but you look at all the other ones, and it's just like everybody's like, "What? What the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I like everybody, players, fans, guys like us who don't watch the NBA, everybody in the world just went, "What are you doing?" And now we find out that obviously the Mavericks fans were very pissed off, and you had people now trying to refund their season tickets, and Dallas was like, "All right, yeah, no, you got a point. We'll refund you." It's like, wow.
I don't know if you saw this. The Dallas fans were so pissed off that I guess outside of the arena, they painted like racial slurs or curses or something on the concrete, and the janitors could not get the paint off the concrete.
I didn't see that. I didn't see anything about any racial. I did see like there was like congregations of people walking out of the arena or coming to the arena, I guess, for the game that night or whatever. And like they were just, people were kind of walking around. It almost looked like Walking Dead. It was like zombies. They were like, what? What are we doing? I have no about, again, let's not paint racial slurs or ethnic slurs or gender slurs. Can we just not do slurs? Can we just not paint slurs on sidewalks or walls or things, you know? Listen, however you want to decorate the inside of your home is your business. I have no reason to tell you that. But let's leave, you know, the swastikas and the hammer and sickles and the anarchy marks. Can we just leave all that, you know, to the inside of the home and leave it off the sidewalks and the walls and the streets? Thank you very much, everybody. No matter how mad you are at either your sports team or your local politicians or the sun. I don't know. I know there's some people out there, their crystals don't work, they don't recharge right, and they get mad at the sun. Who am I to argue that? Just don't paint shit on the fucking ground, okay, people? Can we all agree on that? Thank you very much. By the way, Crafty, no, that is a new addition. That is a new addition I put there. And if you can't figure out why that's there, if you can't figure out why I would have something like that for this coming Sunday, I don't know if I can help you. I don't know. I mean, I know you guys are very intelligent, smart people there in the chat. I know you are. Hamster, I don't know about, but everybody else is fine. Everybody else is fine. Hamster, we'll see. I don't know. It's a little 50-50 on him. We got to give him a Scantron test, maybe. So yeah, we got to get him. Hamster needs to be tested. He might be on a spectrum, but.
You just said no racial slurs or anything, and here you're like.
There's not a slur. That's not a slur. I'm just saying. I think he might need to be diagnosed. That's all. I think he needs a proper diagnosis. Is all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Listen, I want my man to get the help that he needs. Jimbo, before we get out of here, before we do leave here, I do want to touch on one thing. Hold on here. Let me see if I can pull this up here because it should still be trending, and it might be. I think it is actually.
While you're looking that up, I do want to give one quick shout out.
Oh, go nuts!
To a former New York Giant making his Super Bowl appearance. And not Saquon either.
I know. I'm figuring. I knew it was going to be something obvious like that. Like, what are we talking about here?
He got there before Brian Dable. He got there before Joe Shane. Congratulations, Danny Dimes going to be at the Super Bowl this weekend. I guess Saquon is putting him up in a suite.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
See, my man. See, even Saquon knows Danny Dimes is the fucking man. He knows.
So he made it a Super Bowl before Brian Fat Ass Dable.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find. I'm reading these articles here. Okay, so one of the subjects that me and Jimbo love to talk about here, I don't know if anybody has paid attention or not, is the University of Notre Dame. Big Notre Dame guys here. Big, Fighting Irish. Go. One of the other things we like talking about here is the Irish's old coach and well-known piece of shit, Brian Kelly, who just ran out on a Notre Dame in the middle of the night because he wanted an opportunity to play for a national championship. And in case you don't know that, LSU hasn't played for a national championship in the last 3 years. Meanwhile, Notre Dame just played in one. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out great, but they played in it.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that Brian Kelly, head coach of the Louisiana State University Tigers, is still a giant piece of shit. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, excuse me as I go ahead and give you a burp here. Former LSU star Greg Brooks Jr., who apparently had a bout with brain cancer when he was down there at LSU, was fighting for his life, almost died a couple times, it seems here. Really in a bad spot. Well, here we go. In an exclusive interview with Good Morning America, former LSU defensive back Greg Brooks Jr. said that he hasn't heard a single word from the LSU Tigers coaching staff or anybody since 2023, and that includes, and most importantly, the head coach, Brian Kelly. You may remember Brooks Jr. filed a lawsuit against LSU and Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center for gross negligence, apparently, when that happened. So, Jimbo?
Yes.
Your thoughts on this latest revelation about America's favorite head coach, Brian Kelly?
I find it funny about this because I believe he said it when he was still with Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, that his job is to obviously win football games, win championships, but not only just that, but to help mature these young men and help them grow up to be better men, so they're ready in the NFL, so they're responsible and respectful. What the fuck are you teaching here by doing this?
Well, Jimbo, here's the one thing you have to understand. Unlike Notre Dame, when Brian Kelly went down into LSU, it's all about family. It's all about family. You have to say it with the fake accent as well. It's all about family. You treat everybody like family. And apparently he wanted to treat Greg Brooks like family, but just the family that you don't talk to and don't invite over for Thanksgiving dinner. So let's not forget, everybody, that Brian Kelly killed a kid at Notre Dame. Yeah. Had him up in a scissor lift in a massive windstorm and said, "Hey, that film's not going to tape itself. Get your ass up there." and caused the scissor lift to go ahead and fall over, crash, and the kid died. Yeah. So again, and again, when you look at it too, like the things that Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame, the things that he took away, like he took away game day mass. And I know what you're going to sit there and say, like, well, maybe not everybody's religious. You're at a Catholic university. Hate to tell you that. You're going to go to game day mass. And Marcus Freeman did that. So he kind of got rid of that. He kind of got rid of a lot of other things, other traditions. And also killed a kid. And then left in the middle of the night because he says, I can't win in Notre Dame. I can't win a national championship here. I can't get anybody here. So I'm going to go down to the SEC where I can win a national championship, at least compete for a national championship, in which case he hasn't even competed for an SEC championship, let alone a national championship. And now also, he had one of his players there going through a very traumatic point in his life and couldn't be asked to bother with him. Hey, let me know how that brain tumor comes out there. And, if you're still all right, we'll see you at practice. If not, hey, best of luck. Like nothing, not a hi, not a hello, not how you're doing. Is that how you really treat your family, Jimbo? I don't think that's how you treat your family. And again, I want to say this. This is all allegedly. Can't sue us. We said allegedly. So go fuck yourself, Brian Kelly. Allegedly. Allegedly, go fuck yourself. I don't know if it works for that. I still get my fucked over for that one. But in general, like, here's the thing: whether or not, like, again, I'm not going to sit here and say, allegedly he didn't speak to him. Okay, allegedly he did not speak to Greg Brooks during his time dealing with this issue, which he almost died. Okay, that's what Greg Brooks says, and that's an allegation.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I can say my opinion. Again, we know what either the facts are or aren't. We know that there's an allegation, so it's all allegedly. We can't say anything more than that. My opinion, though, of Brian Kelly, given his history and track record and how he's done things in Cincinnati, Central Michigan, Notre Dame, and now in LSU, the track record, it is in my personal opinion of him, is that he's a piece of shit.
Yes.
You can't sue me. You can't sue anybody for what their opinion is. Now, I didn't say factually 100% Brian Kelly's a piece of shit. I said, in my opinion, Brian Kelly's a piece of shit. Millions of other people share that same opinion. Can't sue millions of people. It's just our opinion. It's America, baby. We're free to say what we want to say as far as our opinions. We can't state it as fact, and I'm not going to say it's fact because it's not. We don't know personally if Brian Kelly is a giant piece of shit. If he's just a giant piece of shit inside a human meat suit, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't have access to his medical records, and nor should we. There's HIPAA violations. We don't want to do any of that. But in our opinion, well, at least my opinion, Brian Kelly is a piece of shit. So, I mean, that's how all I want. That's really all I want to put there. ELS in the chat says, Brian Kelly, you're a very, 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 very evil man. Allegedly. Hamster wants to know who's going to win the Puppy Bowl. That's the real question.
Ooh, yes, right.
How do they set that up? Other teams, or is it just like, do they have like there's different puppy breeds and whoever's like the cutest wins?
They base it off of size. So like, 5 to 15 pound puppies go at it for one quarter. Then next.
Do they fight? Is this like a Michael Vick situation, or is this like just cute little puppies?
Last year,
I don't listen. Well, this is
last year. Listen, I always watch. Me and the wife watched all the time. Last year got a little dicey. And it got so dicey that the ref threw the flag on the one puppy. And he always picks up the puppy, if it's a smaller puppy, picks up the puppy to say, you can't be doing that. And as he was doing that, puppy did not like the ref and just took a piss on him. So
you'd like to see more of that in the NFL. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody gets really pissed that the Chiefs made a call like that. You see fucking Jalen Hurts just come out and just start pissing on a ref, just whipping out his cock, just psst. Don't like that call, ref. I don't like that call. It's like, what do you do? That's a personal foul, I guess. Unsportsmanlike conduct. That's really all you could do.
This is his first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game towards ejection. Second pissing will be ejection.
I mean, listen. In that case, it's a good thing that the flags are already yellow. You know what I mean? So you're not really. All right, so there we go. I guess that'll do it for this one. Again, we talked about the Super Bowl. We gave our analyses, both as fans and as professional journalists. And Jimbo believes that it will be the Eagles that come out on top. So long as they run Saquon Barkley and that Nick Sirianni doesn't Sirianni himself or fall back into bad habits. I happen to think it's going to be a closer game, and in close games, you have to go with the team that's always more prepared, and that team is always the Kansas City Chiefs. So I am going with the Chiefs in a squeaky bum time. That one's going to be a high-pitched fart of a game, but I certainly think that's where it's going to go. So I got Chiefs as a fan and as a professional broadcast journalist. Jimbo has the Eagles as a fan and as a professional broadcast journalist. We will find out. I will be giving you the Super Bowl solo on Sunday, as Jimbo will be anxious, shaking in his nerves, and probably a bottle and a half of JMO by the time game time starts. So, but as we mentioned before, Jimbo, know your limitations. Don't push it. Don't push too far. Yeah, be responsible. Come on. Hamster says Antonio Brown would piss on a ref. If Antonio Brown was still in the league, there was a candidate right there that absolutely, if somebody was going to piss on a ref, it definitely would have been Antonio Brown. 100% Hamster. I don't disagree with you on that one. And I certainly hope to see all you guys that are in the chat with us here on Sunday. I know ELS said he's got a Super Bowl party going on at his house. Again, I'm missing my own Super Bowl party to be here with you guys, but I would rather be nowhere else than right here, right now. Who's got it better than us? No nobody. But until Sunday, and I don't know, maybe I'll do a couple of random afternoon shows or something tomorrow, Friday, doing things like that. I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. And we'll do that. But maybe we'll have a couple of countdown shows here to the Super Bowl. And if anything else happens, I have no idea. Sometimes I might just get bored and just jump on here for no fucking reason. How about that? How about that, everybody? How about that? You just want me to come on here and rant if I'm bored? Let's do that. I can do that for you here. But until that happens, or if not, on Sunday afternoon at about 6:28 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, my name is King. That is your good friend Jimbo right over here. This has been Stay Tuned Sports. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you later. Adios, everybody.